Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. This time I wanted to make something a little bit different. I wanted to um, like new player suggestion, which legendaries are the best for each faction, at least in my opinion. I would exclude the Primarchs since they are not easily available, but eventually you will find what you want in the shop, and I will do that for every faction, and then for the neutral faction I will pick 3 cards. So starting with Son of Horus, not an easy one. If I have to guess, it's either Avatar of the Four or World Breaker. I think these are the cards that are most valuable in here, but they really have great legendaries, so you can pick whatever. I would actually go with World Breaker because this card makes them easily beat if they get on curve, like Jagaday Khan, other gym boss. Also gives a nice +2/+0 to your warlord, so I think it's the way to go. Even if I have to say, Avatar of the Four can save your life so much that I'm actually very tied between Avatar of the Four and Warbreaker, but I will go with Warbreaker because it improves matchups that are otherwise are just a nightmare, like Angron, Jagathai, like even Kalidus Assassin. You can fuck her up really good with Warbreaker, so I will go with this one. World Eaters. Well, to no surprise, I think is Apothecary Larsak. This card is amazing, big body, nice cost. The passive ability is just cherry on the cake. It's really good. Other cards worth considering is Spiteful Challenger and Blackblade. Blackblade, I think, is a little bit too slow. Spiteful Challenger, it does not. It's not like Avatar of the Four. Avatar of the Four, since it lasts also for your opponent's turn, is way stronger. But I think it's an honorable mention. However, if you see Apothecary Larsak in the shop, just pick it up because it's so good. Emperor's Children. I think it's Apothecary Comitius. Great stats for the cost. Maybe one, if not the strongest 3-drop in the game. Draws you cards, heals itself or other units. It's just amazing. Another card that is worth considering is Azael Konenos and Ancient Zamar if you're playing vehicles. They're both really good. But I think Apothecary Comitius, just for the flexibility, low cost, big body, is I think is the way to go. If you see in the shop again, don't you will not regret picking it up. Death Guard. Oh, this is hard. I think he's Harbinger of Decay. Especially on like Mortarion and stuff, this makes the game snowball in your favor really easily. Otherwise, it's Siege Master Calgaro because of the like great 3-drop he is, but I think Harbinger of Decay just swings your more game in your favor than Siege Master Calgaro. Then we have Iron Warriors. Iron Warriors. I think it's Anvil Rhino. Again, maybe one of the strongest 3-drop in the game, which is a common theme apparently. Vantage, so he can activate immediately. Iron Warriors work a lot with abilities, so reducing the cost is actually amazing. Drawing troop is another thing that they want, since they work a lot with troops. And I think it's like if you play it beside like a taunt, it's almost impossible to take it out, and if you have multiple activations, it's just like the value it gets is so much that I think it's really worth it, the inclusion. Like I put this in every single Iron Warrior deck I make, so while maybe I don't include Consul Vorocon or Siege Master in everyone, I think MV Rhino is worth the inclusion every time. Alpha Legion, oof, that's tough. That's really tough because they have great legendaries. I would guess that it's either Moritat Vortronar, just because it's so good. Stealth, good stat line, amazing passive ability. Uh, or Hydran Exemplar, just because it makes Alfarius work. Uh, and also False Colors, it's a great card. Maybe actually False Colors is the one I would go, because this is the only way they have to get healing and stealth if you're playing Alfarius, so gives you a lot of flexibility and can save you the game. So yes, maybe False Colors is the best legendaries they have, I think. Um, there is also an argument to be said about Praetor Jacon, Azure Serpent, um, especially Praetor Jacon. Like this guy activates Alfarius super easily, big body, um, makes them draw traps. Um, but I still think False Colors jumps up ahead. However, if I have to say, I wouldn't play Alpha Legion if I didn't have at least one, two, three legendaries, maybe even four. Also, Dante Escrix is great. It's really tough. But if you have to choose one, I think False Colors. Even if it's a faction I wouldn't recommend as a starting player, because since they rely a lot on their legendaries, it's hard to make them work properly if you have not a complete collection. Night Lords. Night Lords, I think, isn't Master Goodle. It's just so good that is actually amazing. Like Terror Flank Unstoppable is already for a 3 drop is already amazing. The Murder is just a cherry on the cake, and actually makes it more buffable with Prey Sight, I think, the one cost common. Um, Overall, this I think is the best legend. Like 3 drops is I think I really like, because you can drop them early, and they can swing you the game heavily if they are left untouched. Um, Another argument can be made for Countercard Dissident, since also this card is really strong. But I think Huntmaster Goodle, just because of the sheer power that he has early game, like he's dominating. If they can take it out, this guy just wins. Maybe I wouldn't say alone, but it racks up so much value that it's hard not to. It's hard to recover from early and master Goodle that does not get answered. Then we have Thousand Sons, new Thousand Sons. Until they nerf it, I think it's Kennetype Blade Master. Then he will get nerfed for sure. And I would say is Motepa Shrak. Psyker 3 is amazing. The Arcana is really useful. The body is fantastic. And also 6 drop is not it's not top of the curve, so you can play it like in the mid game, and like 6-7 for 6 is a very beefy stat line. Also Psyker 3, if you get you your turn, these 3 psychic energy are going to be really good, and discounting stuff in your hand that you can do immediately by activating your warlord ability is just very very good. If they don't nerf the Kennetype Blade Master, I would suggest you to pick it up as soon as you can, and I will do it for sure when it drops to the shop, because Psyker 2 flank gains sneak attack. This guy trades heavily in your favor. You can protect him really good with precognition, buffing health. It's just amazing. Like, this card is amazing. It's just too good. Then we have Word Bearers. One of the faction I most like, and it's so shit that I don't even know where to start. However, I would say it's Architect of Heresy. Astartes are like a common theme across the line, so taking control is really really good. Like it's a removal plus playing the card, I guess. So for 7 energy is well worth it. Otherwise, you can go with Sword Backpal, which is always good as an early drop. You can go Sexugal Sword into Sword Backpal, and you have 3 Chaos Spawn, and you basically win the game because no one can handle that much pressure early on. However, like I think Architect of Heresy is less of a all-in compared to Sword Backpal. Then we have Ruistorm, the worst faction in the game. I guess here is the mission, because it's the only thing keeping them alive. The Gate Unsealed is actually... sometimes it's really bad. Sometimes it's great, so it's okay. And unfortunately, Kabanda is not playable. Otherwise, I would say Elitel or Bile-Blade. But since the only playable guy they have is Kugath, then we have to stick with Lord of Chaos. It's Kugath? No. Well, what's the Demon Prince of Nurgle? Behold. Then we have Traitor Legions. I guess it's Banelash, because it's just great. 3-4 shield, 3 energy. Again, 3 drops are amazing. And when a friendly unit receives Awakened, he gains a Mark of Chaos. Note that this card is even strong, like it's really strong without the Mark of Chaos. With the Mark of Chaos, like Slanesh, for example, or Zinch, it becomes a menace. And like this is a must answer threat for everyone, I think. And it's always going to be good. Like maybe if you have Banelash and then draw Creeping Madness twice, like this becomes a pain to deal with. Otherwise, I think they have still like great legendaries overall, like Chain Feasts, Creeping Madness, Titanic Inferno, Iron Hunter. They're all good cards, but I think Banelash has quite a good reach because of the cost, maybe. Iron Hands, first Loyalist faction. That's hard. That's really hard. Like they have really great legendaries. I think they've maybe one of the strongest pool of legendaries in the game. If I have to choose one, I would go with Gorgon Hammer Bearer. 6/6 for 5 is really a great stat line. Augmetics cost 0, so everyone that plays with Augmetics and created Augmetics from the 3-drop are going to make him snowball the game in your favor really hard. Also, it generates by activating Pride. So I think just because of the stat line and the cost is amazing. Otherwise, I would consider the Immortal Sergeant, because sometimes in the early game this card is just so much of a pain in the ass to deal with. But I think like if you go Drilling Sight, Hammer Bearer, Counterattack, you have a 6/6 with. I usually play Santar. You have a 6/7 that generates Augmetics that cost 0. Like it's so hard to deal with it. I will go with Gorgon Hammer Bearer, but every legendary in Iron Hands is, I think, really good. Salamanders. Okay, so a faction that I don't play, so I might be wrong. I will say that. But maybe the card that I think racks up the most value is Legendary Dalok. It deals 1 damage, which is not that much, but it creates artifact. You can drop it as early as you want, because turn 1 you can drop it for sure. It's a 2/3, not a 2/2, so it doesn't die quite as easily. And there are some warlords that actually play really well with artifacts, so I think is a very good inclusion. And also, like, I don't really like the other legendaries they have. Like there is nothing special. Maybe Yaraden just because of the body and the survivor is good. Like you are actually, I think, never going to proc the sacrifice, but or maybe you are dropping the tank, which is yes good value, but nothing like crazy. It's not Kurta said, for example. Uh, but yeah, like for just for the flexibility, generating card draw is always nice. I would go with Legendary Lock, but again, I don't play them, so I can only give the impression I have from playing against them. Then we have Raven Guard, another faction that I don't play, but if I have to say it's Lunar Eclipse just because of the flexibility and the fact that it gives you a free turn sometimes. But they really have very good legendary like Champion Warkill, Maltrator Dias, Chooser of the Slain, all great cards. I think Lunar Eclipse just you want to play this in every I think Ravenguard deck. Giving stealth to your warlord is incredibly viable. Like even with the old card that I don't remember, maybe I can check. Like with Deliverance, giving your warlord stealth was the main point of including it. This also deals damage. You can set up for a pretty good snipe attempt when you have Lunar Eclipse and you stealth up your warlord, maybe a couple of troops. If they don't have anti-stealth, they're fucked. So I think it's Lunar Eclipse. Space Wolves, new Space Wolves. It's clearly weird thing. Like until they change something about it because it's so broken that I don't even know where to start. It's a 6/6 for 5, amazing stat line. He has ward, difficult to take out, and dish out a ton of damage. So like it's not even close to the other cards. I think it's just him. Custodes, they will get reworked soon. I think right now it's Paragon Spear for sure. Later we will see, but it's not worth talking about it right now. Ultramarines. Phew, Ultramarines is hard. I think Sons of Ultramar is the only thing keeping them in the game, so I will go with this. It's a nice mission. Reward is not amazing, but you can easily achieve that. You can it's the only way they have some kind of value generator late game outside of the Gilliman Reckoning. So yes, I will go with Sons of Ultramar, but really their legendaries are pretty good except for the Mantle of Ultramar. So anything is just fine. I think if you see the mission is dropped, just pick it up. Even if they are if you want to play them, they will get reward pretty soon. I think in like 3-4 months, so maybe you can wait, but I think the mission is worth picking it up. Blood Angels, it's Sanguinary Guard, best 7-drop in the game in my opinion. Unstoppable Flank First Strike. I mean, it's just so a troop that is so strong that is actually impossible not even considering not even including it in the first place. Like it's so good that makes everything else just pale in comparison. White Scars. Huh? Considering that if you are playing Jagatai Khan, you want Skilled Rider. Other than that, if you are also playing other stuff, I would go with Jubal Khan. 6-drop, 5/6, okay stat line, deal damage on rally, deal damage with active ability and comes back in your hand, so you can play it later. But also I have to say, since the change, Selmeg Oxai is just so crazy strong, so it's either Selmeg or Jubal Khan. If you are going for the Jagatai Khan because you got it from a crate, White Tiger Dao and Skilled Rider are the most valuable cards in his deck. Dark Angels is Knight Predator Ramiel. Swings the game in your favor. Big body, 5 energy, so you can drop it early. On turn 3 if you have the counter attack because you went second. It's just so strong, and him with the baby Ramiel I think is the only way Dark Angel keep up with the pace of the game. If they start um, like behind because you are playing maybe against aggro, this card saves you. So I think Ramiel is always worth picking up. Imperial Fists. This is hard, very hard. I would go with Phalanx just because it's so amazing that like there is not another card in the game that draws you 4 cards, heal you for health and refill 4. So I think as a late game drop and refill, this is just amazing. Other than that, Aramburg is great, Ahmad is great, Mission is shit, Arcamus is okay, Gunfrey since the change is okay, but I would go with Phalanx, like Phalanx is so good. Sisters of Silence. Whew, that's hard. That's really hard. So, considering how much I like Sisters, I think that even if the Great Tithe is a great card and makes you play completely different, I think in most of the games I have, Ebon Naroda just saves my ass because of how much cards she draws. Okay body for the for the cost, not amazing by any means, even a little bit weaker, like it's maybe a body of a 4 drop, but drawing 3 cards and healing is just so good. Like 100% I will pick up Ebon Naroda, and if like second legendary would be the Great Tithe. Because this really can save your ass for good, especially if you're playing Crawl, since you gain a tick of the Reckoning. But yeah, Ebon Naroda, I think if you drop her and also heal your board, like this is where it makes the most difference. So I would go with Ebon Naroda, but this is very questionable, I think. Agents of the Sigillite. I think it's Mushan, just because it's so crazy if you drop it turn 1 that even if they don't remove it, it is actually incredible how much work this card can do. And you will see her, I think, in almost every Agents of the Sigillite deck. But it could also be a Sword of Truth, I think, because this, like, they lack a little bit of reach, and Sword of Truth just make you reach that. Like, sometimes you really need this 5 damage, even if maybe it's not that much, and you think it's not worth it. Like, if you want to play aggro with Agents of the Sigillite, I think you need Sword of Truth. However, Machine is just generally a better card to include. Loyalist Titans, I don't play them, so I will start by saying this. But if I have to guess, it's either the Tactica Moderati. Yeah, I think it's this card. Like, giving shield every time to the Titan weapons is just good. And healing also. The fact that it is random maybe is not great if you, but like it's nice value that racks up over time. You can play it turn 2. I think it's worth it. But again, I don't play them, so if you are if you don't agree with me, feel free to tell me in the comments. Orphans of War. Orphans of War. Ooh. I would say Brain Nev, just because good body stealth, value, damage without attacking. You can make an argument for Cadmus Tyro, I think. but I think Brain Nav just in all games at least gives you something, and sometimes Tyrant just dies immediately and racks up no value. Um, so this does something immediately, deals damage, good stat line, stealth, make it hard to deal with. Raven Guard troops are actually really good. So I will go with Brannev. Defenders of Caliban. Um, I think it's still irresistible charisma. Like this card can give you so much reach that it's incredible. So I think it's irresistible charisma. Even if Ramiel and Atayas are also good choices as best legendary. Like all of these three, I think are worth including in every single Defenders of Caliban deck. Then we have Night Houses. Drakyavak is the best legendary so far. Like, there is not even close. Good body, reactor. The rally is just crazy. Like, healing 4, drawing weapons, getting plasma, he can do everything. So I think there is no way you are playing Night Houses without Drakyavak. So I think this is the must pick up. And also the mission and the Hell Rider are worth considering if you want to play melee knights. But Reykjavik goes into every knight, so Imperial Army. So having to pick 3, I would say Edict of Censure is free, but it's a great legendary. Lord Malkiel for sure. Nior Surcassen, I don't have it, but for sure, pick it up. And another one is Crucial Source. Like, these cards sometimes give you so much stuff, so much good stuff that actually it's really worth including. And I think Nior Surcassen is underplayed for what it does, which is really good, especially in aggro decks. You should play her, I think. And Malkiel sometimes breaks the curve in your favor so much that you can't like that. With Drilling Side you can play a 5-drop on turn 2, so it's just amazing. Pick it up, seriously. Malkiel is so good. Mechanicum. So Mechanicum, maybe I could also pick one since they have so few. I think if I have to pick 3 is Forge Master. Great card, like it's just so good. Castiol Illustri, draws vehicle. Sometimes this is relevant, gives shield to vehicle. Sometimes this is relevant, but maybe it's mainly is for the draw that you pick him. Nice stat line, nothing crazy. And Machine Spirit, because it makes like this you can play also outside of Mechanicum, like with Emperor's Children, for example, and it's just good. It's just good value. Then we have Chaos. So Chaos, the first card is obviously Tishayal. Flanker, resembles a little bit of the Sanguinary Guard, but it's easier to take out. Flank Terror, maintenance. As a general 7-drop, this card is great. Then if I have to choose is Strategus. 3-3-4-3 generates value, such an amazing card. If you see in the shop, just pick it up, because every single aggro deck can run this card. Like, it's not even close how much flexibility this gives you. And then for the last one, they have so many good legendaries. I think it's Con Favor, just because makes some deck work, like Angron. You can play it in Sabatar, you can play it like so many aggro warlords could like this card. Actually, outside World Eaters, if you are going for a beating face type of build, this is the only way you can get an extra attack, except Orders of Terra. So I think it's well worth the inclusion and the gems you spend on it. Otherwise it could be Dracnian, but I think Corn's Favor, since sometimes is like you can't forgo this. I think it's always worth including. Um, anyway, these are my picks for the top legendaries. Let me know if you agree, and um, if you like the video, of course, and see you guys next time.